Good morning, boys and girls. Today our project will be to make a bird out of the reed that we have here, from a bird that you've selected from the ones that are up on the overhead screen over there. I selected this particular bird, and this is to cover skill building of shape and forms to prepare for sculpting. Now, right quick, I assume that everybody read the chapters from 3 through 8 out of the visual experience. If you have not, well, you're going to be sorry, because you need to be familiar with the elements of art and the principle of design that we're going to be using today. Now, everybody has a sheet, a worksheet, that we're going to be going over. So if you don't have it, make sure you have that. And we're going to start with the vocabulary because that's what's first on the worksheet. Now, vocabulary, we're going to start with shape. We went over that in the book on page 60 to 62. So what is a shape? Anybody knows what a shape is?
No.
No. Okay. Shape is a two-dimensional area with recognizable boundaries. It can be geometric or organic. Geometric means it's a square, it's a circle. Organic means it's like an animal, things that are found in nature. Form. Does anybody know what form is?
No.
Forms. Okay. So form is a three-dimensional object that can be geometric as well, but it's got depth, height, and width. So this here is a form. Form, like the bird. Bird is a form because it's got depth, it has height, and it has width. It can also be organic or geometric, just like the shape. We also have balance. Balance is a distribution of visual weight of the element in a form, in a work. So balance means that you want it to be copacetic with each other. You don't want it to be gigantor on one side and super thin on the other. Balance means that it all goes well together. Proportion is the relationship of one part of the rest of the element and compared to the whole element, the whole work. So the bird's proportion is smaller at the top than at the bottom. He's got big chest here, a little bit less, and a lot less right here. So that's the proportion of this bird. So we want to try to stay with those kind of proportion. Kind of like this bird here, it's bigger here. He's a little bit large here, and then he's got a little small head. So that's what we're working on. Now we're going to look over our line drawing that we need to make, because obviously this is way too complicated to try to make into a reed animal or bird. So we're going to simplify it, and we're going to take our paper like this, which is the same paper that we're going to use for our bird. It's rice paper, and we can copy it like so, and then we're going to follow the shapes, so we can make forms. So look at that, we got 3 circles, which will wind up being spheres, which are spherical forms. And we want to try to have a drawing similar to this. Now if you look at this bird, it's got more of an elongated cone kind of form, and kind of a sinuous cylinder. This frog here is more of a total sphere with cylinders and cones for its limbs. This bird here has more of a cone-like shape for its body and a cone-like shape for its beak. All right, so moving on, we're going to learn how to make this bird. So spheres is what we like to have, and to make spheres out of reed, we're going to use tape. First of all, I personally like to put out a bunch of little tape pieces on the edge of the table. That way, when my hands are full trying to put this together, it's much easier because the tape's already put out. If your tape is too wide, you are very welcome to split it in half, cut it, whichever. All right, so now we're going to take some reed, because our goal is to make the sphere. Now, I like to take a piece, cut it. Now, regular scissors cut reeds real well. The outside, the darker area is usually the outside of the reed. I like to wrap it around my hand to measure my pieces, because it takes several pieces to make the sphere. And then you cut, ta-da, so now I got 3 pieces that are all equal. And then you attach together like so. I hope everybody can see. You kind of tab it together, take a piece of tape, tape it, wrap it around, try to keep it as thin as possible, because when you put all your pieces together, it's going to wind up kind of thick. Another one. Ta-da. Now when you put these together, you want to go inside one another and you crisscross them like so. Everybody sees that?
Yeah.
Another piece of tape and tape it up. Now, obviously there's going to be some tape sticking out, so sometime you can trim this with your scissors to make it nice and neat. You will want to tape the bottom also, because it's going to keep separating and wind up very askewed. Kind of like this one is. See how this one's kind of more of a flat out sphere? But sometimes that's okay, because that's what you need. And you keep going until you get your pieces all put together, and then you have a nice sphere like this. Now when you go to put these together to make your bird, you can attach them, whether they can go on top of each other or into each other. In this case, I did a half sphere back here because it did not need a big giant sphere for that. So, and then you put them together with the tape. All right, so now let's move on to the rice paper. The rice paper you want to apply to your peas. It's very simple. Take a smaller piece is easier. Score it so you can fold it, bend it. It will go around the sphere much easier, because trying to put square on circle is impossible. Then you take your glue. You put your glue on your reed. Try not to make a giant mess with the glue. And you put your paper, and you hold it for a moment. And voila. And then when you're through with the thing, you put a piece of string, because in the back there's some pre-made mobile that one per table. Everybody's going to, on the table, which is usually 4 of you, you're going to have 4 birds on this. So there'll be some that have 2 sticks, some of them 3 sticks, whatever you need. You pick one, they're made. You may have to put a little weight on the bottom, and we'll put them in front of the school for everybody to see. Have fun, be careful, and if you have any questions, please come see me.